So first, I want to start by thanking everyone. I want to start by thanking God for bringing me to Columbia College. I originally had intended to take a gap year before there was a gap year, and my dad woke me up every day at 4:30 in the morning for about 3 months, saying, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And after about 3 months, I said, "No, Dad, I want to sleep. So if you leave me alone, I'll go to school if you leave me alone." So I want to thank God for bringing me here. I want to thank my mom and dad. My mom and dad are very young parents. Maybe now the 3 days of crying my mom did when they drove me up to campus from New Orleans is worth it. I want to thank my family for being here with me. Columbia College gave me my family. My husband, Don, is a 1991 graduate. My daughter, Erica, has attended classes here before getting her teaching degree at UMSL, and my daughter, Gabby, now works here. So we have a family tradition there. In addition to that, I also want to thank my family. My grandmother, who apparently gave me a teaching gene, because when I was an undergrad here, I did not want to be a teacher. I wanted to be, I don't know, a business person. I don't know what I was an English major and a psych major. And also, I thank you for giving me bragging rights. My sister is a 2007 graduate from the online program, and my brother is a 2015 graduate from the online program. So Christmas this year is going to be really cool. And also, I need to thank you for the mentors in my life, because Columbia College has given me some of the most important people in my life. First of all, I'd like to thank Teresa Vandover. I got to meet Teresa a few years ago. Columbia Public Schools had an Aspiring Leaders program, and Teresa led the program for us. And ever since then, honestly, we have dinner, she cheers me on. It's wonderful to be able to talk to her about the practical side of teaching kids who may not like to read. And it's wonderful because I can say to Teresa, "Oh my gosh, I had the worst day, but it was so terrific," and she really gets that. I also want to thank Linda Bradley, because when I came back in 2012 to get my reading specialist certification, Linda took me under her wing, and even though she was not my official advisor, she made sure I had every class to make Desi happy, and that is a really hard job, okay? And finally, I'd like to thank Faye Burchard. Where is Faye? I don't know. Don't make me cry, okay? Not this early. And because Columbia College actually started my teaching profession in the strangest way, Faye came to me, I don't remember what year it was, she came to me and she said, "We're starting this volunteer program with Columbia Public Schools. Would you volunteer for us?" And I said, "Sure." But somehow I lived in Hughes Hall, and I have to confess to you, I did not know there was a junior high across the street. I did not. So I volunteered at field school with second graders and found out that I would never teach second graders. I can't do it. That's real work. So I get to share with you some of the really cool things that Columbia College is currently doing in our community. I'm going to brag for a while, because Columbia College is our partner in education. And so I get to work with Columbia College a lot, being the reading specialist at Jefferson Middle School. So let me tell you a few things. First of all, when Dr. Dalrymple came to Columbia College a few years ago, Dr. Dalrymple brought this idea about esports to Columbia. And so I look for compelling text for my readers in my classroom. And one of the most compelling texts I found a couple of years ago was this Madden Challenge? The Madden Challenge. So Dr. Dalrymple held this Madden, tournament with the students of Columbia College. And I gotta tell you, so I watched this video with my 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and then I make them write a constructed response to get ready for the map test. You would not believe the number of kids who sit up, who have never done anything like most of the year, and say, "I'm going to college. There's video games at college. I'm going to college." And So by the way, Dr. Dalrymple, I do have the constructive response question for you. You can turn it in to me later this week. And I watched Dr. Dalrymple's do what Dr. Ruthenberg did for me as an undergrad. I know that you've hosted students in your house, and I need you to know how important that is and how important that was to me. Being that kid who didn't want to be at school by myself, who looked for friends like my friend Michelle Karewicz, who drove in from St. Louis for me tonight. It's so important because that's what kept me here. It really made a difference for me. And because of that, I get to make a difference for kids every day. I get to go to work, and don't take this the wrong way, anyone in education, I get to play school every day. And it is so much fun. Let me tell you a few of the things Columbia College does. So Dr. Tina Dalrymple, a couple of years ago, came over to our media center and brought over $1,000 worth of scholastic books from our SMSTA here at Columbia College. The students earned those scholastic books through book fairs, and they brought them to my classroom. Now, I teach kids who will walk in the first day of school and say, I don't like to read and you're not going to make me. So I need really good books in my classroom. So thank you for that donation. Just 2 weeks ago, Dr. Vandover gave me a donation to take 100 middle schoolers to Barnes & Noble to buy books for our classroom. So when I started at Jeff Middle School, well, back then it was Jeff Junior High, when I started there 10 years ago, I walked into a program that was trying to grow, and we needed books, but we weren't quite there yet. So for the past 10 years, I've gotten to take 100 middle schoolers to Barnes & Noble to buy books for our reading classroom. And so it's changed my curriculum. It's changed how I teach my kids. Instead of giving them a book, I'm teaching them to choose a book. It's kind of like, do you give someone a fish or do you teach them to fish? So now we've actually surpassed 1,000 books, new books every year. I mean, we get 100 books every year, and so we're at 1,000. The newest books, the hottest books, the books that you can't get at Columbia Public Library without a waiting list. When there was a 24-week waiting list for Hunger Games, my kids got that book the next day. And so thank you for that, Dr. Vandover. Access to good books is key to student reading, and with struggling or resistant readers, it's crucial. For 3 years now, with struggling readers, I have kids who come into my classroom and say, I'm never going to college. College isn't for me. For the past 3 years, I've worked with Dr. Leah Willis, who is a social work teacher here at Columbia College, and we've done something called the Cyclone Cougar Connection. And I love this group. So Dr. Willis's students come in once a week for about 13 weeks, and they teach a lesson, a life lesson. We share some short piece of text, and then we have a group with her students and my students where we talk about life. And what we've learned in those 3 years is that we have kids who come in to that program saying, I'm not going to college. College isn't for me. And somewhere around the middle of the program, the kids start saying, they change their language, and they start to say, maybe I'll go to college. Maybe I'll think about it. And then by the end of the program, which yesterday was our tour of Columbia College, we have kids on campus saying, when I go to college, I'm going to live in Miller Hall. When I go to college, I'm going to live in Banks Hall. And so you allow me to be the best me every day. So thank you for that. These are ways that Columbia College really impact my professional life, and yesterday's tour made me a little nostalgic. I'm walking through Banks Hall and Miller Hall and Hughes Hall. So my students and I recently wrote Where I'm From poems based on George Ella Lyon's Where I'm From. So I'd like to share my Where I'm From poem with you. I am from freshman move-in day, from Banks Hall and orientation circles. I am from holiday tea in the parlor of Hughes. I am from brightly colored tulips at the Rogers Gates, the April-cut grass of the Circle Drive. I am from Ivy Chain and basketball games at the Armory. From Faye Burchard and Dr. Ruthenberg and Alioto's lectures, and despite my personal lack of musical talent, from Jane Froman. I am from late night study sessions and early morning classes. From, why don't you try this and you should go. I am from the branches that grew from Christian College. I'm from giggling walks to the campus twin to see the first run of Dirty Dancing, again and again. And Pasta Factory, downtown, toasted ravioli, and mugs up chili cheese fries. From stories of the Gray Lady, I still won't look up at St. Clair when it's dark. From the first time Coach Burchard shaved his head for a basketball win, and the time when Phyllis Grant was still in student life. On my shelves and tucked in dressers are albums and boxes of photos, young faces of friends who crossed into family. A myriad of firsts. I am those moments, seeds planted long ago in a moment called Columbia College. Thank you.